good time to get to Epernay to go and see Jean Vachon at Meaux de Chandon for lunch. So we might have to spend the afternoon there because I think we'll get a bit delayed after lunch with Jean. So it should be fun. But it's about a 3-hour drive from Calais, so we need to go. We need to push, as you say in Italian.
We're about to leave the Empire. Morning, France. It's excellent. We've always wanted to see Calais in November. A mixture of Venice and Paris, but better, really. Stunning girls, and all the people are really friendly and smiling.
Where is this?
At Calais.
Calais, cool.
Now the car that we're driving has just celebrated its 75th birthday, and there aren't many 75-year-olds that you can put this through. It's a bit like having your grandmother run a marathon. Now this car is a 1936 Bugatti Type 57 Atalante. The Atalante, a bit of the name refers to the body style. Atalante, named after the Greek goddess of speed, who had said would marry any man who could catch her. This particular car was actually sold nude in New York in April 1936 to a man called George Rand, who was the Bugatti importer into the States, and only 2 of these cars were actually imported into the States new. After the war, they went through various hands, including one Dr. Sam Scher, who was a pioneering plastic surgeon who had escaped from Germany before the war. He's said to be the man who gave Marlene Dietrich her look.
I've driven quite a few Gullwings. I've been fortunate enough, and they're fantastic cars, but they are not, unless they have to be really very well sorted out to work properly. The worst problems with Gullwings is they suffer from terrible heat in the interior, but fortunately this car has been beautifully sorted out and insulated properly, and I must say it's very civilized, and it's lovely to drive. More important, it's got fantastic steering. Now, most of these cars are pretty heavy in the steering, and I think the camber and the caster and the front suspension setup's been beautifully done. So this steering is incredibly light, but it's also quite positive. It's just beautiful to drive, and Simon's fitted a 5-speed gearbox, which is very helpful because normally the gearing is a bit low. So that 5-speed on the motorway gives it much longer legs. You have to drive an old car. You can't just sit in there and push the buttons and put it on automatic pilot. I mean, with an old car you're involved. I mean, they move around. It's a bit like riding a horse. You know, you have to let the wheel move. You have to let the car move on the surface of the road. It doesn't just do it automatically and iron everything out. You are part of the car. A classic car is an old piece. It's been crafted. They have a history. They've been used. They've been sometimes abused. They've been restored. And you know, a modern motor car is stamped out on a production line. I mean, they bang them out. Okay, there's some beautiful modern cars, of course, but they don't have the sort of soul, the sort of history about them.
And this is what it's all about. It would have been so easy to put the cars on a transporter to Switzerland and to hop onto the train ourselves, but that would be missing the point. I've always said that owning an old car and not driving it is a bit like being married to a playmate and not sleeping with her. It's completely pointless, and life's made of experiences.
There's no sort of soul with a modern car, just because they're too functional, they're too digital. We like old cars because they're analog, and they have a sort of feeling, a flavour, a soul.
If you're telling your grandson in 50 years' time that you owned a car like this, he wants to know what you did with it, the journeys that you took, where you went, what the car was like to drive. He's not going to be very impressed if you tell him, well, sorry son, I only polished it. This is what it's all about. That's what memories are made of.